Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to today's physics class. So today we are going to continue with the revision questions of chapter 9. So let's start our class. Okay, so once again let us quickly go through the key concepts of this chapter. So what are the key concepts of this chapter? We have types of forces where we studied about balanced and unbalanced forces, then Newton's first law of motion, Newton's second law of motion, Newton's third law of motion, then momentum, and then finally law of conservation of momentum. So these are the key concepts of this chapter. Okay, so this is question number 1. When small boy is trying to push a heavy stone, mention various forces acting on the stone. Now if a boy is pushing a stone, let's say this is the stone which he is trying to push towards this direction, then you have to mention what are the different forces acting on this stone. Now when he is trying to push this heavy stone, now what are the various forces? Now clearly first is the force which is exerted by the boy on the stone. Then we know the frictional force, it always acts opposite to the applied force, so this is frictional force. Let us denote this with FR. Then we have the applied force F. Now we all know that gravity acts downwards, or rather we can say gravitational force is acting downwards. Let us denote this with G. And at the same time the reaction force of the ground acts upward, so let this be denoted by R, the reaction force. So we can say there are 4 different forces acting on the stone. Now if they are balanced, the stone will not move. So what are the 4 different forces? First of all, the force applied by the boy, then the frictional force acting opposite to the applied force, then gravitational force acting downwards, and then the reaction force followed by the ground in the upward directions. So these are the 4 different forces acting on the stone. So let's see the answer. Yes, the various forces acting on the stone are the gravitational force exerted by the earth which pulls the stone downwards, this is the G. Then the force of reaction exerted, but just a second. So student, this is not the universal gravitational constant. I have just used to denote gravitational force, this G. So please don't get confused. It is not universal gravitational constant. I have just used a letter to denote gravitational force which is acting downwards. Similarly, this is R, that is the reaction force, FR is the frictional force, and F is the applied force. So this G is not your universal gravitational constant. It is just I have used it to denote the gravitational force of the earth. So the forces are gravitational force, then force of reaction exerted by ground on the stone vertically upwards, which already I have shown you, this one. This R is the reaction force. Then we have force of pushing exerted by the boy, so the force applied by the boy is the third one. Then we also have the force of friction. So these are the 4 different forces acting on the stone, and if these forces balance each other, the stone will not move. Now let us discuss question number 2, which would require a greater force accelerating a 2 kg mass at 5 meter per second square, or a 4 kg mass at 2 meter per second square. So you have to identify which will require more force. Now if you have to accelerate an object which has a mass of 2 kg and you have to accelerate at 5 meter per second square, you have to calculate the force required for this, and also you have to calculate the force required to accelerate a 4 kg mass at 2 meter per second square, and then you can determine in which case you will require more force. So it's quite easy. So if you use the formula F equal to ma, so for the first case we can use F1 equal to m1 into a1. So here what you will get, 2 into 5 for the first case, so it becomes 10 Newton. And for the second case, if you use the formula F equal to ma, we get F2 equal to m2 a2. So here the mass is 4 kg, so 4 into 2, this gives you 8 Newton. So definitely we require greater force for the first case, that is object with mass 2 kg. Now here it is important to note that if you go by the mass of the object, the second object has a greater mass, but since we need to produce less acceleration, we require less force. So if you use this relation, we can clearly find out which body requires, or which case requires greater force. So let's see the answer. Yes, so here m1 is 2 kg, a1 is 5 meter per second square, m2 is 4 kg, and a2 is 2 meter per second square. So clearly I have already done this in the previous slide. So for the first case 10 Newton is required, and for the second case 8 Newtons is required. So clearly F1 is greater than the F2. So this is how you can determine in which case greater force is required. Now this is question number 3. If an object is not moving, does it mean that no force is acting on it? So definitely not. We can easily assume that the forces acting on that particular object is balanced. So when an object is not moving, it signifies that all the forces acting on it are balanced. So it implies that all the forces acting on the body are balanced. So if this is an object, and if we apply force from this side and the same amount of force is exerted from the opposite side, then we can say the forces are balanced. Now if this is Fx, this is Fy. Now let us understand with the help of this diagram. So suppose this is an object and we are applying force Fx from this side and Fy from this side, and if both the forces are equal, then this object will not move. So this is called balanced force. Then explain why it is difficult for a fireman to hold a hose. Now this is not a house. Let me just correct this. This is hose, H-O-S-E. So explain why it is difficult for a fireman to hold a hose which ejects large amount of water at a high velocity. So why it is difficult to hold a hose that ejects large amount of water at high velocity? So we know, according to Newton's third law of motion, every action has equal and opposite reaction. Now if the water is coming out in this direction at high speed, definitely the water will exert the reaction force in the opposite direction. So the fireman holding the hose will not be able to hold it properly. Why? Because the reaction force will make it unstable, and thus he will not be able to hold it properly. So when a fireman holds a hose, so here it is written correctly, H-O-S-E, this is the correct spelling. So when a fireman holds a hose which is ejecting large amounts of water at high velocity, then a reaction force is exerted on him by the ejecting water in the backward direction. So when the water comes out at high velocity, it produces a reaction force according to Newton's third law of motion in the opposite direction or in the backward direction, thus making it difficult for the fireman to hold it properly. So hence it is difficult for him to remain stable while holding the hose. So this is based on which principle? It is based on the Newton's third law of motion. Okay, so question number 5. A bullet fired against a glass window pane makes a hole in it and the glass pane is not cracked. But on the other hand, when a stone strikes the same glass pane, it gets smashed. Why is it so? So here two conditions are compared. First of all, when a bullet fired against a glass window pane with a very high velocity, it makes a hole in the window pane, whereas if you hit it with a stone, then the entire glass pane breaks. So why is it so? Let us see the answer. So when a bullet strikes the glass pane, the part of the glass pane which comes in contact with the bullet immediately shares a large velocity of bullet and makes a hole, while the remaining part of the glass remains at rest and is therefore not smashed due to inertia of rest. But when a slow moving stone strikes the same glass pane, the various parts of the glass pane gets enough time to share the velocity of the stone and the glass is smashed. So this is because when the stone strikes, it gets enough time to share the velocity for the entire window pane. But in case of bullet, the time is very less because it comes with a very large velocity and it has very less time to share its impact to the whole window pane, and thus when a bullet strikes a window pane, it makes a hole, whereas a stone it cannot make, rather it smashes the entire glass. Then this is our last question. Describe our walking in terms of Newton's third law of motion. When we walk on the ground or road, our foot pushes the ground backward. Now we know while walking we apply the force in which direction? In the backward direction, and the ground pushes our foot forward as a reaction force. So here the force that we apply on the ground in a backward direction is the action, and in return when the ground pushes us in the forward direction, that is our reaction. Thus the forward reaction exerted by the ground on our foot makes us walk forward. So this is these are some of the questions which I thought I should discuss, because numerical we have done in our regular classes. So these are some of the questions that require reasoning, proper logic. So I thought of discussing this question. So I hope it will help you to understand the concept better. So that's all for today's class, my dear students. Thank you very much.